So this man needs no introduction. He's already been introduced plenty of times. Everybody at UPS and UPS management thinks this guy is the worst thing they've ever come across. And guess what? They're right. They're right. He's a terror, but he's also my best friend and my Teamster brother, Dustin Ponder, everybody.
Yeah, I guess, some people say I look like Conor McGregor, and I wear the hat, I got the beard. Maybe I am the infamous Teamster, but I just want to tell you all a little about myself real quick. My name's Dustin Ponder. I'm running for Secretary-Treasurer of our local in November. I've been organizing in the labor movement for over 10 years. I'm currently an elected shop steward in Local 512. We ran an actual slate. The local didn't want me in there, and guess what? Our River City people, my boys out here, we destroyed them in the election. We ran a slate of stewards. You'll actually see a flyer in there. We won overwhelmingly because we organized the members. We went out, we talked to them, we educated them. And River City Day Sort, a lot of these people have gone on to other sorts, but I know a lot of faces in here. My people are out here because guess what? We educated and organized our members. We informed them about the contract. We made social media to keep them plugged in and informed. Now I'm a full-time package driver in the South Center. I've worked in every position in the hub and the inside. And I came from Local 804 in New York City. I served as a shop steward up there. It's one of the strongest unions in the country. Been an activist in the Teamsters United movement nationally in Florida. I was a lead organizer on the Fight for 15 campaign in New York and the Vote No campaign at UPS. So that's kind of my background. And I wanted to talk to y'all because I've seen what an actual strong union looks like, what a member-controlled union looks like in 804. And it's one that the company and management actually fears. That's why in the South Center right now, I have on-roads calling my members and saying, oh, don't talk to Dustin, vote for Tony, vote for Tony. We have managers literally calling our drivers right now. They're like, don't listen to them, don't talk to them, don't talk to them. It's hilarious. But as Dave, Jock, Faith, and Ramon, Howard have kind of laid out the vision for what we want to build in 512 Teamsters United, I wanted to touch on some major points and give you guys a little vision of what the future of our union is going to look like on your level. Now, most of the people in here today are what I would call workplace leaders. Many of you, some of you, we have new stewards in here, and we have a lot of people in this room. I'd say almost everybody in this room today is somebody who's thinking about running for steward in the spring of 2021. And basically our movement, as David said, it's not about replacing faces. It's not about just getting rid of Jim or whatever and replacing him with Dave or anything like that. Because here's the reality. The company is not afraid of 7 people. And 7 people on an executive board, they can't handle all this. We have 5,000 members. What they're afraid of is an educated and organized membership. And that's going to be when we have trained fighting shop stewards. That's how we're going to actually enforce the contract. They were afraid when they saw 50 school bus drivers all organized together talking about their issues. They're afraid when we have meetings like this where we're involving the membership. And it's the spring of 2021. We're not just running this local slate. We're going to run a whole slate of shop stewards in every department. We're committed to free and fair steward elections. The days of do-nothing stewards who can't win an election because they're in bed with the company, those are over. Every position, we're going to hold elections in the spring of 2021. Free and fair steward elections. And I want to ask you folks this. How many times have you been in the office with one of Jim Sherling's stewards? Show of hands for me. How many times did you have stewards that took no notes? No notes? They barely ask any questions? Maybe they just sign off on the discipline. They say file a grievance. That's all they do. That's all they do. How many times have these people actually investigated your grievances? How many times have they used written information requests to request documents from the company?
Never.
How many people here have heard of the 7 tests of just cause? Show of hands. Has the union ever talked to you about that? That is the key. They're going to go out and say that we have no experience, that we don't know locals or panels. But the reality is, if you're going to fight discipline, if you're going to build a case, half of their stewards don't even know what the 7 tests of just cause is. And that's what you're doing as a steward is basically building a case for your member. You're saying that this discipline's unjust. If you open your folder, there's a leaflet in there that goes over the 7 tests of just cause. I want you all to take a look at that. Every one of your shop stewards should know that. They should be educating your members on that. They should be teaching people that. And if your steward isn't investigating and building a case for you and poking holes in management's story using the 7 tests of just cause, you got a problem. You know, and that's why what's happening in our local right now, when our members go into a local union hearing, a lot of times they have no notice. The business agent just says, we're hearing your grievance tomorrow. They haven't given you any preparation. They haven't talked to you about your strategy, what they're going to fight, what they're going to argue on. You have no idea. And that's why in the local hearings right now, we have business agents that are settling short. If you have a case of unjust discipline that should be completely thrown out if the union investigated it, you should not be accepting, oh, well, we'll just lower it to a warning letter. No, if we have a rock solid case, that whole discipline should be tossed. And we should have our members confident, organized, and trained and not afraid to go to panel and get what our members deserve. Ultimately, we believe it's in the members' hands. But if you go into a local hearing, no investigation's been done, you have no documentation that's been organized by your shop stewards or business agents, and then they say, well, you could go roll the dice at panel, what are our members going to do? They're going to be like, no, I'll come back to work with no back pay. I don't want to take it to panel. That's a failure. That's a disgrace. In New York City and Local 804, and the best locals in the country, that does not happen. You have union stewards, how we operate, how Dave, Jock, all the people on our slate operate. I got guys here that can attest to it. We're going out, we're grilling management. We're investigating the grievances, we're submitting written information requests. And right now, our business agents, they won't even honor those. I'll send them in. You know, the company's required by law under the National Labor Relations Act to provide us that documentation. But we have to have business agents and local officers who are willing to back up our stewards. Right now, it's a good old boy system. If you're friends with them, if you're on their team, yeah, maybe they'll give you a little access. But it's totally wrong. For people like us, we're left in the dark. They don't answer our texts. They don't honor our right to investigate grievances. They don't pull these documents. I'll tell you right now, day 1, January 1, when we get in, that's coming to an end. I don't care who you are, we're going to have free and fair elections. I don't care if you're a supporter or you're here today. If you win an election, we're going to back you. If somebody on their quote-unquote team wins, they're going to have the full backing of our board 100%. It doesn't matter. To the members elect, we're going to treat everybody fairly. The days of the good old boy club is over. We're going to fight for every member. We're going to investigate every grievance. We're going to do written information requests. And I'll tell you this. I've told a lot of you this. We've already talked to folks in 804, 89, in Louisville, 10,000 person local, the strongest locals in the country. We're going to be bringing the best of the best down to train our shop stewards and our business agents. We're not going to be a backwater anymore. We're going to have the best of the best. Everybody who runs for shop steward with us, you're going to have access to the most competent people in the country, the best labor lawyers. You know, I'll say this, we have a lot of good stewards too. There's some people who their heart's in the right place, but the local has completely failed those shop stewards. I've seen that the trainings they do here, they start a training out and do an hour intro on drive, drive's a good thing, but it's like, how do we have stewards that don't know the 7 tests of just cause? It's very basic stuff. The training's substandard. That's going to end day 1 when we come into office. We're going to pull you guys out of work. We're going to train you. We're going to workshop. We're going to put you in the high pressure situations that you're going to be in the office. And we're going to walk you through that. There's another worksheet there. You know, it's not going to be easy. Because our team, we're going to expect a lot out of our union stewards. I expect that every union steward that runs with us, they're going to caucus with our members before, during, and after meetings in the office. That's a legal right. So when I go in the office, what I do, you have the right to know what that meeting's about. I sit down with my member, and I say, hey, what's this about? As soon as management tells me, I say, time out. We're going to go caucus. I'm going to walk my member through the issue on the contract. I'm going to prepare them for what they're going to face in that disciplinary hearing. I'm going to get the facts from them, the true facts from them, so I know what's going on. So we're not ambushed, so they're not under a high pressure situation. You explain that to the member when you caucus with them. You go back in. If your member gets in trouble in that hearing, the steward has the right to say, time out, I need to caucus with my member. And you can go over that issue. That's what a good shop steward's supposed to do. And God forbid they do issue discipline to that member, you should caucus after the meeting too. Not just say, hey, file a grievance. Most of our members, because the locals failed in their education, they don't know. We need our stewards to say, here's a grievance form. We're going to file under Article, X, Y, or Z. Here's our strategy. I'm going to interview the witnesses. I think we have a good case. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to explain a path forward. I give them my phone number. I'm going to follow up with you. I'm going to make sure this is filed in a timely fashion. That's what all our shop stewards should do. We're going to raise the level of education of our members too. That's going to make your job easy when you run for shop steward. Right. I expect our stewards are going to investigate every grievance. That means questioning every witness to the facts. It means questioning every manager. They're obligated to allow our stewards to do that and pay them to do that if our union backs up their right to do that. And we are going to do that. So I expect you guys, when you run for steward, you're going to build the case. You're going to know the 7 tests of just cause. You're going to interview the relevant parties, and you're going to write that down. We're going to have sample written information request forms. I expect our stewards are going to submit those and collect the documents, whether the employees' personnel files, whatever documents need to be gathered to build a strong case. We're going to give our stewards the right and the knowledge to how to do that. You are basically going to be expected that you're going to prepare the case almost before the local hearing. You compile that for the business agent. And then our business agents are basically going to sit with our stewards and the member. We're going to look over the relevant information, and before we go into a local hearing, we're going to say, here's our strategy, here's the outlook, here's the facts that we gathered. And our stewards are going to prep that member so they're confident and they know exactly what to expect. So if they want justice going forward, they're not afraid to take it all the way and go to panel if we have a rock-solid case. They're not going to settle short if our member wants justice. They'll know all the facts. And you're going to know the 7 tests of just cause. You're going to be in there. You're going to be poking holes in management's case. You're going to be bringing up the actual facts and saying, hey, what about this, X, Y, Z? You're going to get that, and you're going to know that we have your back 100%. Regardless of affiliation, we're not going to undermine, we're not going to attack our stewards. We're going to give you all the training you need, and you're going to have 100% backing from every one of our BAs. I don't care if it's Chip, it's Rios, whoever. If they win, we're going to support them if the members elect them. That's how it should be done. But I will say this too. We're going to hold shop stewards accountable. If stewards are committing misconduct, if they're telling members to violate the contract, if they're working hand in glove with management, and we know that, and there's proof, we're not going to look the other way. That's what's happening now. We have a lot of shop stewards on the locals team who aren't doing their job. Right. I've talked to a lot of you about it. And they look the other way because that's their friend. I'm sorry, I got a lot of friends here, but if you guys are committing misconduct as a steward, if you're not doing the job properly, under our bylaws, you can be removed for just cause as a steward. And, we'll look at that, but we are going to hold them accountable. We've had situations where our members, we have recall petitions. You have to do the job properly for the members. That's what it's about. It's not about friendships. It's not about personal relationships. So I'm going to say this. Just show of hands. Who here is thinking about running for steward in the spring of 2021? Look at that. This is the future of our union. You are the workplace leaders. And I'll tell you this. In December, we're going to be holding a steward training for all our potential steward candidates. We're going to basically give you the nuts and bolts, everything you need to know how to be an excellent top shelf steward. We got plenty of time. The elections basically are going to happen within 90 days of January 1st when the new board takes office. And when we do take office, you're going to have access to the best BAs in the country, the best labor lawyers. And I'll just say this. Me, Dave, Jock, Howard, I could teach anybody in this room everything you need to know about the contract, everything you need to know about labor law, everything you need to know about organizing. You give me about a week, I can teach you how to do that. But what I can't teach is for folks who have the stones, who have the minerals to stand up to management and on the side of the member. You cannot teach somebody to have the power to stand on principle and not you. Because when you're a steward, you're going to have power.
Oh.
And we need people that are going to stand on principle and not trade that power for perks from management. We don't need stewards in the package department who are running LIBs all day because they're looking the other way about grievances and issues like that. We don't need stewards who look the other way in the hub when supervisors are working because management lets them walk around and not do a job all day. Those days are over. And if that's why you want to be a steward, you're on the wrong team. People are going to stand on principle. And they're going to stand up for the members. I believe in the union. Everybody on this slate believes in the union and the members. And that's what we want to see. And if you do that, we're going to make every one of you the best dang stewards in this country. We're going to teach you all the rest. But management is going to fear and respect our stewards. That's a fact. I know they fear me. They hate me. But to sum it up, we're going to have free and fair elections when we win. And like Jock said, we are going to win. But that means you're going to actually have to organize a campaign. You're not just going to walk into office because you're our friend. You have to win the trust and earn the respect of the membership. In that folder, there's a handout. It says Steward Workplace Map. I want everybody to take a look at that. If you're planning to run for shop steward, you better start organizing now. You've got a couple months, you already have relationships. This is how we built our successful steward campaign. We went out and made relationships with people. We got their phone number, we got their contact info. We called them. We'd go out to Chubby's, me, Eric Irving, Austin Taylor, all these people, David Jones. We had a crew, we had little local union meetings. You got to build that database. You're mapping out your future team and your supporters. We're asking folks, go out, get 50 names and numbers. If you do that, you will win your election. I want you to look at the little stars. That's what we call workplace leaders. All of you are workplace leaders. You have to identify the people in your shop, the veterans, the influencers, the respected people, the people with knowledge. You want to have one-on-one conversations with those people. Maybe grab a beer, go get coffee with them. Build a relationship and become the person who is that resource for union knowledge. We're going to teach you about the contract. We're going to teach you how to do all the things you need to do to be a good, successful steward that fights for members. But like Dave said earlier, if everybody in this room gets 10 people to vote, this election's over tomorrow. We expect you, as part of this campaign though, we're saying get 50 names. Go out, we need you guys to start organizing and building your steward campaigns now. That's the future infrastructure of this union. Everybody in this room, we're going to increase the number of stewards. You guys are going to increase your communication with the workplace leaders, and that's how we're going to move the membership. And I'll tell you this right now. This is going to be a trial run for your steward campaigns, this local election. If you execute here, it's going to put you in position to win in 2021. I want you to take a look on the back of the Just Cause flyer. There's a sample leaflet that we used when we ran our steward slate. I'm one of the few people who actually ran an election against the local stewards. And I'll just tell you, we smoked them. But that's because we went out and organized. We have draft templates of this. We want you guys, we'll help you make up your own sample flyer for your campaign. But that's where these committees kind of fit in. We're trying to get together rank and file committees in every department and every company, where the workplace leaders, the shop stewards, the veterans, and reflective members from all these departments set the priorities for contract enforcement and what we want in the union contract during contract negotiations. It's not going to be about what Dustin wants, what Dave wants, what Howard wants, what Faith wants. We're going to pull the membership and say, here's what the membership actually wants. And that is going to make our job as stewards and business agents easy. Because what you're going to put on your campaign flyer is what our committees and our members say they want. And you're going to commit to uphold that. You're going to say, I'm going to fight for what the members want. If they come back with a sellout contract that doesn't meet what we want, our job is easy. Vote no on it. Simple as that. We're not going to shill a contract to you. If the members want to fight, they're going to fight, and we're going to support that. Same thing with contract enforcement. If our committee, if the rank and file leaders, we did this in package, we've done it in part-time. If our members bring up issues, we're going to fight for them. I know a lot of people tell us we're crazy on this package campaign, but guess what? My guys that I talked to, none of them have been called in for a 4-6 report since we did those actions. We got results. When the local sat on the sidelines for 7 months, they didn't do anything. They didn't even take that grievance to panel. We took action and we won. Simple as that. And the fact is, if we had competent union leadership, it never would have gotten that far. We would have nipped this in the bud 6-7 months ago. So, as Dave said earlier, I actually coined this phrase, but Dave used it a little bit. If we want member control in this union, it's not going to be easy, because that's going to require member education. It's going to require member responsibility, and it's going to require member participation. It's not going to, the days of us doing everything for folks are over. You have to step up to the plate and organize your people. You have to show up. You have to volunteer. We've never been paid for any of the stuff. We're not getting any of the perks that local stewards are. We pay for this out of our own pocket. We have for years and years and years, because we believe in it. And you guys have to find that. If you want to build a strong union, granted, we're going to take it back and we're going to actually put that $2.5 million to good use instead of going into the pockets of Jim and his cronies. But it's going to take commitment from you guys. Put in the effort, put in the work. That's going to make all the difference. So, these are the building blocks of our union. If we form strong committees and we train strong stewards, we're going to win this election, and we're going to win strong contracts, and we're going to end the corruption and the good old boy system that's going on at the hall right now.